Welcome. Welcome to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I am Teresa Aronson from the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. It's our pleasure, our honor to facilitate this event every single month. We do it on Tuesday now, and if I'm not mistaken, it's the third Tuesday, second Tuesday. Third. Oh, thank you. I need reassurance that it's the right day of the month. And of course, we will be visiting with representation from the council. Special treat for you. We have Vice-Mayor Jolien Caraballo is going to be with us today, pitch hitting for our Mayor Shannon Martin. I'm going to start the show as I always do with our sponsor, and it is Mid-Florida Credit Union. We love Mid-Florida here. We never can say enough nice things about Mid-Florida, not just for us, but for the community in general, and the Mid-Florida Event Center and every other nonprofit. I think that you guys got them all covered, all 305 of them in St. Lucie County. It's the majority of your job, but we appreciate it very much, and it does not go unnoticed, so we're happy to have you here. Today, I have an old friend of mine, Lizanne Maurer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I know, we can't hear you very much, can we?
How's that? Better?
Okay. You can talk loud like me.
I'll try.
In a deep voice. Yeah, there you go.
Work on it.
All right. Lizanne, you do loans, right, for Mid-Florida? And we've not had you on the show previously, I don't think.
It's been a minute or two. Yes.
It has been a few years? Okay. So,
mortgage loans.
yes. And you did my parents. They always speak very highly of you. Just so you know, Sharita, you know I go to the bank. I want Sharita to know that. But yes. Tell us about mortgage loans right now.
So we're continuing to stay fairly busy.
Mm-hmm.
The volume has subsided some since, the last 6-7 months, with interest rates being what they are.
Yeah.
And they're going to ask me, what are the interest rates? So middle sixes, but we do have a lot of options for our members where they can, and I'm sure you've heard on TV too about ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages.
Yes.
So we have several options, specials that we're offering. Different criteria, but it gives them the opportunity to purchase that home where they might not be able to with a 6.5% or 6.25% rate. So much more affordable.
Yeah, so there's always options, right? Do you guys do interest-only loans typically or not so much? Not on houses?
Great question. Yes, we do, but there's a lot stricter criteria for that. I just found that out yesterday, by the way.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, so the interest rate went right up, and in 2020, I refinanced with Mid-Florida again, shout out, mine too. And I got like 4.25, 4.7, and I thought, when I saw them go down during COVID, I was like, dang it, now I'm happy again. See, it's so funny how society decides for you.
Yes,
but now we're
absolutely.
back in the mid-sixes. That's okay. But how... So what's happening now is with the higher interest rate, they're getting priced out of what they thought they could afford.
Absolutely.
So they need to probably adjust. Do you know how much they need to what does that mean to them?
You mean as far as the rate or like how much they can afford?
Yeah.
It just depends on the borrower and if they're, what their income situation is. Are they just starting out working? Have they been on the job many years and they have a decent salary? Just it's unique to every person.
And every lender typically, or no?
A lot. Yeah, I mean the guidelines are pretty much across the board, but each lender has their own. What's the word?
Some more qualifications.
Yeah, yes. So layers that we may add, for more protection for the lender.
But it does matter if you've been at your job a longer time, right? You guys do like that?
We do. But we also, if you're a nurse and you just graduated and any other profession where we know you're going to be on the job more than likely a long time, if you just started, we can still qualify you. If you were in school last year, we can document that you just graduated and we'll still qualify you.
Okay.
30 days on the job, as long as you have.
Oh, really?
As long as we can verify it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. And what do you want people to know about home loans right now?
Lily should be up here with me.
Yeah.
Be careful with the credit cards because a lot of people are leaning on those now because everything is higher. Because in the end, everything's going to...
Sharita's watching it on Facebook.
You can watch it live.
Short delay. And so what you just said, we heard from the audience. It was weird, right?
It was. Yeah, so credit card debt, always, people tend to fall back on that. Home equities, we're seeing a lot of home equities too, where people are taking the equity out of their home to, I don't want to say make ends meet, but get the things that they need.
New roof and that sort of
Exactly,
stuff.
yeah.
And on home equities, is it true that you typically get like 80% of the value? Like they won't give you your entire value of your house.
At 80%, less your first mortgage.
Yeah. So you can only owe up to 80%. So if you already owe 60%, you're only going to get 20% of your value out of it, realistically.
So we've tightened up, since 2008 when a lot of lenders went to 100% financing. They figured out, I guess, that wasn't a real good idea, and now most lenders across the board are 80%.
Okay, good stuff. Good to know, because this is like a real estate hot market here. All right, we're going to give them the website address. Mid-Florida Credit Union, nope, midflorida.com. That's right. We're both looking to Shrita for answers on that. And anything else before we say, okay, well, I want to thank you all, and Shrita and Maylin and everybody for coming in. Nice to see you, of course, always. One more thing?
Yes, one more thing. I just want to introduce my colleague, Lily Swanson, Yelenia Swanson. Yes.
They're not going to be able to see her, but we'll assure you she's in the audience.
Yes, she is. Good. She covers, she's taking the whole Treasure Coast. The branches are all hers.
Okay, and in the mortgage lending.
Lending, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Very good.
I just support her.
All right. Well, thanks for coming. All right, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back. We're going to have a special. We're going to talk a little bit about something that's going to be on your ballot in August, and then we'll visit with Vice-Mayor Jolien Caraballo. We'll be right back, everybody. Oh, welcome back. Sorry, we were chit-chatting. Welcome back. We are going to talk just shortly about an upcoming referendum. It's going to be on your ballot if you live in the county, which most of you watching probably do. Also, it's going to be on your ballot a second time for the city of Fort Pierce. So if you live in the jurisdiction of the city of Fort Pierce, you're going to have to vote on it twice. So welcome my guest. It's Maureen Salser. She works at the Economic Development Council of St. Lucie County. We are cohorts in this. We just ran it for the city in their special election, and now we're battening down the hatches, tightening up for the county and the other city. So tax abatement. Most people know, but let's give them a rundown of what it is.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. So what it is, it's an economic development tool to bring in high-paying jobs and capital investment in the county.
I turned Maureen's mic off, so we're going to start over. Not with my part, just Maureen's.
Okay. So the tax abatement question that will be on everyone's ballot, including in Port St. Lucie, even though you already voted on it in December, this is now for the county. So each municipality has to run their own election for this particular tool, because each municipality can choose to use it or not use it, depending on their qualifications for this. So you will see it if you live in Port St. Lucie once again on your ballot in August. And it's a very, very important economic development tool. We compete with nationally in terms of bringing good companies here, and we compete very much within the state of Florida. We have a lot of interest from companies from South Florida that want to expand up here, but they have other options. And all around us, the counties have this particular tax abatement. It's not new. It's been in place for a long time. We rely on it heavily when we recruit companies here who are bringing high-paying jobs and large capital investment. We also rely on it for companies who are local who want to expand. And a really good example of that right here in Port St. Lucie is TAMCO. TAMCO, their parent company wanted them to move to Houston when they needed to expand. And they didn't want, or actually Dallas, they didn't want to. They wanted to stay here. They had 50 employees here that wanted to remain here at home. And so we were able to use the tax abatement to keep them here. In return for that, they built this beautiful, that you all know it, the beautiful 400,000 square foot building. And one of the things is that people say, well, gee, why should they get a tax abatement? They're a big company, and I'm just a little guy. And the reality is that they're always going to pay more taxes with a tax abatement, even than they paid before. There's no tax break. It's a matter of paying lower taxes on new buildings and new equipment. So for instance, Tamco, they were scattered throughout a bunch of offices in St. Lucie West Business Park. When they built their building, before they built their building, they were paying $426,000 a year in taxes. After their building, even with the abatement, they were paying $903,000 in taxes. So we had a huge difference in what that meant for this community, because only certain taxes are abated. So for instance, the school taxes are never abated. And so the schools had a huge windfall from that. The fire district is not abated. The South Florida water management is not abated. And a really good example about how this works for the homeowner is that the Crosstown Parkway is voter-approved debt. That can't be abated. So that's a certain amount of money. A certain amount of money was loaned to build Crosstown Parkway. Everybody who lives in Port St. Lucie is on the hook to pay for that tax over time, that cost over time. Well, every company that we can bring in here that pays a part of it means that you and I, who live in Port St. Lucie, don't have to pay it. So last year, Tamco paid $38,000 toward that Crosstown Parkway. That's $38,000 I don't have to pay, you don't have to pay. So there's a lot more to this, but the most important thing to know is that there's no dollars out. These companies are not getting any dollars from the city or the county. They're simply getting their taxes decreased a little bit for a short period of time. And so for more information, you can go to www.youredc.com. And we have all the information on our website. We also have a copy of this that you can download and share with friends if you like, which we'd like you to do.
All right. Well, thank you, Maureen. We appreciate you being with us. And we are going to take a short break. We'll be right back with Vice-Mayor Jolien Caraballo. We are joined finally by our guests today from City Council. It is the one, the only Vice Mayor of this beautiful city, Jolien Caraballo.
Hi.
Welcome. Hi.
Good morning.
We've done the show together several times, right?
Couple.
Couple?
Couple.
I feel like we've done it like quite a few times, but it's always nice to see you. The mayor's got some really important things that she is tending to and couldn't be with us today. So thank you for, I think you were notified yesterday sometime. Yeah, probably, which is usually how it goes. But that's all right. So we appreciate you coming
Kind of goes
down.
with the title Vice Mayor. You just
You're like, oh, I'm up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're like the understudy. You're sitting backstage and you're like, oh, I'll get dressed.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. So thanks. You got a long list, it looks like, of things you want to talk about.
I do. I have some updates I want to provide on some important projects as well as some economic development. And by the way, Maureen did an excellent job in the tax abatement explanation. I think for the city, it's critical. And Galleria Farms is a perfect example of, types of projects that you can anticipate. We have a couple projects, also code name projects that are in the works. And
Yes. We don't get to know who they are for a while. They go through very creative code names first.
Yeah, and so without the tax abatement, I look at, there's 412 municipalities in the state of Florida, and they all have the ability to have this tax abatement as well. So when you don't have that kind of tool, you're not able to compete with amongst other municipalities. And it's just like us, when we shop around for the best deal, right? We look to see where we can save dollars, especially in difficult economic times. And, they're doing the same thing. These big businesses are doing the same thing. So having that tool in our toolbox helps provide us that edge that we need to continue to get the jobs that we need.
Yeah, if we don't do it, somebody else will, right?
Yeah.
And if they don't build, we're going to get a whole lot of nothing.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Our option is some limited time on very specific line items on your taxes or nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Galleria, I'll start with that one. The city sold its last LTC parcel.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff. It's 5 acres of vacant property, and we sold it for $1.2 million. It's going to create over 210 local jobs, which is amazing. And the company was founded in 2000, and it imports and distributes flowers from different parts of South America. And originally they're located in Miami-Dade. So they're a Florida company, which is great because it's a hometown company somewhat, even though it's not Port St. Lucie. And they're going to build over 70,000 square feet. And so we're really excited to have them as part of our Port St. Lucie family and look forward to the jobs they're going to provide our growing community.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of diversity now too with the flowers, Cheney Brothers, Oculus. I mean, we're getting a little diversity out there too. Everybody thinks it's just FedEx and Amazon. It's really not. We're getting a lot of great stuff. Good. Congratulations. So when we took over Southern Groves and you guys kind of got saddled with all that land, really for the lack of a better term, it was either that or let it go into receivership like the Civic Center, City Center, and that was not a very good option. So you guys did the right thing. You took it over, you sold it off. We're done, right?
Pretty much. I mean, I don't want to quote the exact acreage, but I jokingly told one of our staff members, Wes McCurry, asked him, I said, so how much is left out there? And he was like, oh, about X acres. And it was I don't want to quote it. I think it's less even than 100 acres left.
Okay, I was going to say, is it single digits?
Yeah,
is it triple digits? Somewhere around there, but not a lot though.
No, there isn't. And, this is a piece of property that people believed at the time when we were saddled with it, that was going to take 20 to 30 years plus.
I think that was our plan, though. I think we all felt that way. Rome wasn't built in a day, but it took very little time.
Yeah, it's 20 to 30 years plus is what they were anticipating before we actually would sell all the parcels. And what's exciting about this is the huge majority of it has gone to economic development. And it's that 95 corridor positioning that I think did that. But more importantly, as a person who's lived here pretty much my entire life, housing has always been such a huge, it's great to have all the population that we have and, continue to be a growing community. But as a resident, as a mother, I'm like, where are the jobs? And so seeing Southern Grove come to life and seeing all the economic development is going to provide a support, plus our partnerships with the medical community like Cleveland Clinic. And now we have another medical company coming in as well. Tenet Healthcare,
they're going on Becker though, right?
Yep. They're going on Becker, and to continue to have these opportunities for high-paying jobs over the average wage. And I don't know if Maureen said that. She probably did.
They have a minimum wage requirement. Like they have to pay over our median.
Yeah, they have to pay over our median income. So that continues to draw the medium wage even higher every time we have a company that does that. So it's really, really great.
And I always explain to people we're often handicapped by our lower median wage. Our cost of living is a little bit lower, but not proportionately. So we've got to get those wages up for everybody across the board. And sometimes it's tough on small businesses because they have to compete. But what they're finding is that the money that these big companies come in, circulates through the community 3 times. So they're seeing an increase as well in their income. So it's sort of all evens its way out in a free market, in a capital market, which I like. That's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, and a lot of the things is that these smaller companies that are in our city benefit from the large companies because the large company utilize them either for local services that they might need or their employees, patronize their establishments. And so shopping local is very important, but the larger businesses provide more economic stability, and then in turn, those local businesses also benefit those smaller companies.
Yeah, so it's always good stuff. We're glad to have it. We're seeing a lot more apartment complexes. There's always talk about attainable housing for these workers. That is an issue in economic development. You want to build these big manufacturing places and distribution places, but you've got to have a place for workers to live. And so I think we're making big strides in that. I'd love to see more public-private partnerships and more options. I think that's always the key. We had very few apartments over the years, and cyclically they go into a really booming market, which you guys hit it right correctly at the right time to get rid of Southern Groves. We were on an upswing. And they gave it to you when we were on a downswing. So it sort of works out, and we'll do that again. But in that time, you see your apartment complexes maybe have to subsidize through Section 8, but we didn't have enough of them, right? So now I think we're moving in the right direction.
Well, and I think the city of Port St. Lucie, it's a complex situation in the sense of the amount of single-family residential housing that you have. And Councilman Bona, I believe, currently serves on the Affordable Housing Commission. And so one day, he might be a really good guest to talk about a little bit deeper as far as his work on that committee. But what I can tell you is that, one of the feedbacks that I really receive, and I'm sure the rest of the board receives as well, is the concern from our residents of the amount of growth that's occurring. So that continue to be a discussion on our board. Unlike other cities that don't have enough enough housing in general, we have an overabundance in times of the actual single-family residential. So it's making sure that we have that balance and seeing if there's opportunities to provide that within a way that it doesn't necessarily affect the community.
Yeah.
When you add higher densities. Luckily, we've had the ability to grow a little bit in that area, but I think there's still an issue with that. And then the question becomes,
it
Teresa,
is.
too, is even if we look at adding additional density in regards to apartments or multifamily, how affordable is it going to truly be for the market? Because I can approve it, but that doesn't mean I dictate the price.
No, you absolutely cannot dictate the price. The market dictates the price. But with limited options, the price keeps going up and up and up. The more options you have, you're going to see a little bit lowering of the prices, right? But you're right. It is a tough balance, especially in the city of Port St. Lucie, because when you raise the density with really only 3 major, east-west corridors, it's tough. And I don't envy you in that respect. Do we have the resources, the infrastructure to support higher density? And when we see higher density, for everybody watching, it means, multifamily homes are considered higher density. There's more people living in that
Correct.
smaller footprint than a single family home. So it is a balance. But I think that you got to have options in a market to dictate pricing. Right now, or in previous to this 6 months, all of the apartments, I don't care where you were, they were like all pretty much the same price, really, really high. So there was no fluctuation determined on location or size because they were in such big demand. So, but you're right, it's a careful balance, and I'm sure we're going to get there, but it is something we have to work on for sure.
I think it's a region issue. It's a state issue. The state continues to grow. 3rd highest in population in the country, and it's a challenge that the state of Florida is going to continue to have as we continue to have more people want to move to a beautiful state with great weather and good communities.
And they're all coming here, right? Because we're more affordable, realistically.
No state income tax.
Well,
Who doesn't like that?
that's why they're coming to Florida, but they're coming to Port St. Lucie because you try to go south of here, and there's no way, right? The cost of living south is really, really high. We're like the first point north where it starts to become affordable. Anything south of us is like crazy expensive. So I feel like they're coming from the north, they're coming from the south, they're coming at us from all sides.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and I think, now I do want to talk about some of our traffic concerns because that goes with the growth. But I think one of the things that speaks to me in my heart is our senior citizens specifically. And workforce housing obviously is very important. But with our continued aging community and many of our senior citizens that are moving to the state of Florida to retire, and some of them staying, I used to remember a community that we used to have a lot of snowbirds, and it used to go back and forth. And now that costs are higher, maintenance of home is higher, a lot of these retirees are not going back and forth. They decided to sell their home up north and permanently stay in Florida because it's more affordable. So, making sure that we have the medical facilities to answer the call, making sure that we have the housing to answer the call. I think that's also a large challenge in the state and in the city.
It is. We have all the same issues, but it's constantly a balance. And you're going to have issues for as long as you serve on the council, just so you know. No surprises. What else we got going on?
So today we also wanted to highlight Floresta. And just so everyone knows, Councilwoman Stephanie Morgan's also in the house, and her and I both split Floresta like right in half. So
East and west.
it's interesting, yeah. If you're on one side of the street of Floresta, it's Stephanie, and if it's on the other side, it's mine. It's a beautiful thing. So her and I equally love Floresta. The phase 1 is pretty much complete. It looks like they're going to be final striping is going to be taking place this week.
What is phase 1? What part's phase 1?
Phase 1 is it goes out to South Bend.
Yep.
And it goes up to the Elkham Bridge.
Okay. Oh, yep.
So it goes right up to there. And then the phase 2 is going to be Elkham to Crosstown.
Okay.
And then phase 3 is going to be Crosstown to Prima Vista.
Very good.
Yep. And so phase 2, the design is complete. We are currently out for contract, contract should be on the agenda the 25th in regards to the particulars as council discussion of the approval of the contract. What I can share is that preliminaries across the board show that the contract is going to be, or the bids that have come in are significantly higher because of the inflation costs and the cost of goods and the cost of labor. And so council is always balancing that as we move forward. The retreat is coming up as well. We'll talk about that at the end, but those are going to be interesting conversations as we continue to move through this challenging time. Traffic calming. So as we grow, that's been a big concern, speeding. And so first of all, I want to celebrate that the council approved 25-mile-an-hour speed limits on your residential streets to ensure that our children are safer, our community is safer. And I believe they're making a big impact. I've gone down streets through just purposely, just to see how people are traveling. And I do notice people are traveling slower, which is great.
Yes, they are.
So I think that 25 really sets, oh, wait, this is a little slower than, the other streets. So hopefully that continues to go well. Fallon Drive, which is Thornhill to Oroso, is currently under construction for traffic calming. Abington, which is Savona to Import, is in design. Milner, Selvets to Midway is in design. Idle, Yamada to Savona is in design. Sunglow, Gastor to California is in design. Tulip Raised Crosswalk, which raised crosswalks are really neat. We have one on South Bend near Jessica Clinton Park.
Yes.
It helps people just slow down just a little.
Yep.
Which is Tulip at Hale, and its design PO is issued.
Okay.
The Dalton Circle traffic calming planning process will begin in October 2022, and Dreyfus Boulevard traffic calming process will begin in October 2022 as
So
well.
you can expect to see some raised crosswalks, maybe some roundabouts, things to just really slow down people, not necessarily speed bumps, right? We don't really do that, do we?
No, speed bumps, from what our public works has shared with us is that they tend to create more issues in regards to vehicles and maintenance of vehicles, and we want to make people safe, but we don't necessarily want to harm your automotive vehicle or cause an issue. So they're very conscientious on how they do traffic calming. Roundabouts, there are people that do not like roundabouts.
I love the roundabout.
I can tell you roundabouts are probably one of the best things in the sense of, number one, it does help slow traffic, but it keeps the traffic moving. Those stoplights that we have in the city.
Stop signs.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a stop sign, I think, on Savona. Couple in that area in the 5-3, and I would much rather have a roundabout.
Yeah, roundabouts once you learn how to work them, and I know it takes a minute for people to get used to that traffic, but
They're laughing because I'm constantly PSAing on how to use a roundabout because it drives me insane.
there are videos available on cityofportstlucie.com.
I literally talk about it. I've been talking about it for 7 years? About
We can plug that in the comments.
This is how you use a roundabout. You keep moving.
Yes. You keep moving, and it just gets traffic flowing a lot nicer and smoother, and you'd be surprised the impact that it makes on how quickly you can travel. As inconvenient as they look.
I love them, but today, if you're in the roundabout, you do not stop for any reason.
Except for Tulip. We're working on Tulip. That one I know has been a pain.
And if there's 2 lanes, follow the arrows, right? Or just know if you're on the outside lane, you can't go all the way around on that outside lane.
No, and the arrows, they did it, I used to see the roundabouts where the arrows were actually in the middle of the roundabout, which made it more difficult for people to understand the traffic pattern. But now their striping they're actually on the road. So it shows you, it's like, oh, okay, well, I can continue to go around or straight, or this one's going to take me to the right. So it's like.
And if you are using the arrow lanes on the right, it is actually a lane. Stay within it.
And if any else fails, it's like NASCAR. Just continue to go left, turn left, turn left.
Yeah. Go to the middle and just keep going around until you figure it out. But get out of the outside lane.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
All right. There's your roundabout talk for today.
So celebration point 2 is we got to do a ribbon cutting and a welcoming to a PSL Gold Star family.
Yes. Saw that. It was very nice.
The Sandberg family who lost their son tragically in the Navy, and we welcomed them to their new home on the 14th of July. It was an excellent event, and it's a mortgage-free home for the Gold Star family. And it was, I have to say, the mayor in her comments had mentioned that it was the most touching thing she's done since she has been mayor. And I've gone to some of these events before, and they're all very touching. But touring the Sandberg home, and I believe, let me just check the name. I want to make sure that I get it right. Believe With Me Foundation, which is a organization that helps decorate these Gold Star homes, and the touches
They give you.
The touches in the house, the framing, the way that they paid tribute to their son was amazing, because this house they say it's a house built with love. And I mean, there's no other way to describe it. I have as a mother who has a son who's in the military currently serving. I can tell you that the thought of your son being killed in action or in an accident is traumatic. And so I can't help but to think about how this woman has never hugged her child again. And, so to me, it's just the strength that it takes for that woman to just stand there in her home is incredible. And so you see all these memories of her son, and you have to think, you say, how is she taking this all in? But then it is done so beautifully, so touching, so moving, that it's just the most gorgeous tribute I've ever seen for a human being in my life. It was. I mean, I walked into the den and I lost it.
Aww.
Because it was so well done. I mean, proud family of their son. And we are very blessed in the city of Port St. Lucie for them to make their home and their future here and to be able to be tribute to their child. It's just amazing.
I'm happy for them, and I'm glad you got to see it, because I know your son is serving now. Is he in Japan?
Yeah, he's in Okinawa, Japan. He's an F-15 crew chief.
He wanted to go to Japan.
Yeah. So here, being the mom, saying, "Oh, yes, we're going to do the military," and I figured it would give him some life lessons, some real life lessons of, hard times, right? And he had a want list, which, he wanted to work on planes. He wanted to be a mechanic for for F-15s preferably. He wanted to go to Japan, and I'm looking at his list. I'm like, oh yeah, dream sheet for the military. Like, they're going to listen to you. He literally got everything checked off that he wanted. So slightly spoiled even by the military, not just by his mother. And he's loving life.
He'll get those lessons though eventually. It always happens.
Yeah, no. Oh, trust me. Mom still sees his bank account. He's got some lessons.
Yeah. The first taste of independence and a paycheck. That's going to be a scary. Yeah, that one's a rough one.
Yeah, no. I see some challenges, but he's done very well. He's not called me and his dad. He's not asked us for one single thing, and he's completely doing it independently. So I couldn't be prouder.
Good.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, solid waste. So everyone, we know that. Talking trash. So I just want to give everyone a quick update. Well, we're talking trash, but we're not talking trash about people, at least. We're just talking trash.
Oh, well then, ugh.
I know, it's kind of boring.
No, I want to talk trash.
So the city of Port St. Lucie recently leased 9 rear loader garbage trucks. Obviously, I'm not going to go into depth the challenges that we continue to face as a community with solid waste, but we're trying to be as responsive as possible during these challenges and aid in this situation. So we have 9 leased trucks. There are 6 right now on the street, and we have 3 coming on board. These are the only 9 trucks in the state. So I want to make sure that we highlight that, because everyone's like, well, can't you bring in more resources? And the reality is that this field, as well as the equipment, is limited. It's not like you can just walk into a car lot and say, hey, I would like to buy 5 garbage trucks today.
You can't even do that at a car lot.
So
yeah.
I know.
You can't even go to a car lot and get a car today. My parents had to order a car, and then they gave up and just bought another car.
Exactly.
So if you think you're going to get a rear loader or even a side loader garbage truck, when you can't even get a Chevy, forget about it.
Yeah, so it's difficult. So we were able to lease these, and keep in mind when you're leasing them as well, they're older and they're not necessarily the newer vehicles. So you have those challenges as well. Luckily, we have public works employees that have volunteered to change their job currently and help assist us in this plight, because we couldn't do it without our great staff. And that's worked out excellent. We've picked up over 6,205 homes and over 251 tons of garbage since some of these have come online. So, and then yard waste, we have 2 helpers as well. And Waste Pro is still picking up.
Yeah, you've got contractors for that.
But we have FCC, who's also our future contractor, and Optimum. And collectively, they've picked up 799 tons of yard waste. And Christina did this chart for me, my executive assistant. I love how she put 799.16 tons.
Okay, very good. Very specific. Well, you asked her to put it together. She was very specific.
She did a great job. And then combined bulky waste total was 249.79 tons. One thing I also want to do is thank the St. Lucie West Service District, because they've also stepped up and have been doing biweekly yard pickup. So we thank them for their yard waste efforts, and we know that they have their resources usually for other things, but they're also chipping in, so we thank them. And then there's 2 important events if people want to attend. Change is not easy. And, the questions that come to the city council in regards to the concerns of change and what's it's like to go to once a week pickup and what is bulky waste and all these changes, this is natural in the sense of any time you change service or providers. So there's going to be 2 opportunities, which is Tuesday, August 2nd, from 6 to 8 at the Tradition Town Hall, as well as Monday, August 29th, from 6 to 8 at the PSL Community Center. And these are open houses that the solid waste transition to FCC, and FCC will be there so you can speak to them about any host of questions that you have, concerns, suggestions, etc.
Boy, they're brave.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
All right, well, good luck to them.
Talking trash ain't easy.
Yeah. And to come in is the cleanup efforts, but have to deal with all the misplaced anger that's out there now is going to be fun for them.
It is, and I think, it's just like, I hope it's just like business in the sense that, you know what you're coming into. I know when they were standing in front of us, I did not mince words. I made sure they understood that they had to gain the trust of the public. They didn't do anything wrong, but nonetheless, they're going to have to show the public that they're ready for the job and they're able to perform at the level and expectation of our community and what they pay for. So,
yeah, it's I wish them the best, but it's gonna be tough. People are gonna. Everybody hates change. B, they're coming in at the tail end of a situation that got kind of icky, right?
yeah.
So people are not really going to be blaming all the right people. They're just mad because we currently don't know when our trash day is. We just put it out and hope for the best.
Nope. I got picked up, I think, I can't remember. It's been, and so I know I didn't get picked up Saturday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. We'll see if I get, so I don't even know. What
No,
my
it doesn't come, it for sure doesn't come on your old usual day, but there's just a part of me that's like, what if today's the day that they're going to come on their usual routed day? And so I still put it out there. So it's out for about a week.
Yeah. It just depends. There's
4 to 5 days maybe. But yeah, listen, I know what's going on. There's nothing I can do about it. It's not like they're going to tell me when they're going to come.
Yeah, I wish I could give everyone that. I wish I could tell them this is the date you can anticipate, but until we switch over in September, that's probably not going to be the case, and so we just got to continue to work together. I can definitely say this with full confidence on behalf of our city council, our mayor. We continue to thank our residents for their patience during this very, very challenging time, and all your efforts. I've noticed that people are becoming more aware of how they place their trash. And so they're trying to place it in more organized fashions. And there's some that are not, but
Yeah.
there are other people that are trying to place it. And I just seeing that is a huge thing for me, because I'm just like, thank you so much for thinking about, despite the challenge, you still want to make sure that it's organized that way. When they do are able to take it, it's quick and we can get to as many houses as we can.
Yeah, that's the thing. They can only fit so much trash in the truck.
Right.
And when it's full, they have to empty it. That's just how it works, right? So so try to be mindful of what you're putting out there. We've been utilizing some commercial bins that we have access to for some, because we just know how bad it is. Yeah. And luckily for us, we don't have an HOA. We're we can stick our trash can on the side of the house and bungee cord it down so the animals can't get to it. But a lot of people in these neighborhoods, they can't leave their trash cans outside, so that's got to stay in the garage for a while. So that's creating a different animal of issues.
And it's important that we
Quite
continue to
literally.
use, it's important that we continue to use the 1PSL app to report our trash issues. So make sure that you continue to communicate to the city in regards to if you're having missed pickups. That way we can utilize the trucks in the areas that we're able to.
Oh, really? I don't do that. I just hope for the best.
Just hope for the best, yeah. And and some people, it may not be their top priority, and that's.
I just know it's sort of messy right now, so I'm like, I don't want to burden them with my lack of trash pickup days too, because I feel like you probably got that covered.
Yeah, we only, a lot of times we do have individuals that are going around and checking the routes to make sure they're being picked up. So that is occurring to make sure that everything's being picked up on time. But I don't, there's always a gap that something gets missed. And if there's a concern, just make sure you communicate to the city in regards to your issue. And we're going to try to do that. And that's not, listen, 1PSL has been used a lot this year for solid waste, but let's not forget it can be used for so many other things, potholes and litter and major flooding issue. Like if you see your streets flooding a lot and you want to tell us about how you're concerned that it's not draining quick enough, or learn more about that, 1PSL is a great opportunity to communicate to the city your concerns and really keep a tally of communication between you and the city.
It is a great app to really report issues that are going on in the city. But not, you can't tell on your neighbor anymore on that app, can you?
So listen, I didn't do that. That is the state of Florida.
No, I know, but you can't do it on the app anymore because you gotta disclose.
That's the anonymous. So before, yes, you could report issues within your neighborhoods anonymously, and the state of Florida changed that. So
Yeah.
I could say call your state rep, but I'm not going to do that. I understand the reasoning, as far as people that were maliciously just calling about a particular person and constantly reporting the same person because there might be a neighbor dispute. That's where it seems like it stemmed out of as far as the change.
Well, I mean, there might be a neighbor dispute, but if the person's in violation of the code, the person's in violation of the code.
Now, what I can say is if you make a report, and this is really important, and you feel that there's a health safety welfare issue or your life can be in danger by reporting this individual, please make sure that you say that because that still is protected. So we don't want people that feel something needs to change, and then on top of that is concerns of life safety issue or concern about their livelihood or welfare, feels that they can't report that. So,
Okay.
yeah. So last thing I want to hit on, unless there's other questions, is retreat. So retreat starts on Wednesday, and retreat always sounds like a fun term. Everyone's always like, you're going on a retreat with the council. They think we're going on vacation, going to hang out at Woodstock Trail.
This is the least fun retreat, just so you know, in the history of retreats. It is grueling, the retreat.
It's a 3-day budget retreat. We do 2 retreats a year, one in July, one in February. And this is the opportunity where the council has the ability to dive deep and really talk about issues, projects, budget, hear updates from our department. We have council meetings every second and fourth Monday of the month, but these meetings are business meetings. They're meant to conduct the business of the city in a very efficient manner.
Judicial manner, it's less informal.
Correct. And so it doesn't provide a lot of ability for us to really sit down and talk about what our thoughts are. What projects do we think our residents want? How is our strategic plan looking? Is that matching up? So that's what this does. And then for the resident, I think, before I ran for office, the retreat for me, if you didn't come to anything all year and you wanted to learn about your city or what was happening in your city or what's coming in your city, those 3 days are the best 3 days or the best 2 days that you can spend learning about what's going on in your community. It's like,
It's a deep dive. It's very much detailed too, and you have stakeholders and partners come in and report as well. So it's a lot.
Yeah, and it gives you, if you want to know about how projects are moving and stuff, it's great. The city manager in the back, as well as in the foyer in the city hall, any resident can come in, pick up the proposed budget. Please keep in mind this is just proposed. The city manager, this is his budget. So how it works is the city manager provides council their budget. Council approves the budget, but it is the city manager's budget. So it's his proposed budget and recommendations for the council. This has not been voted on yet. So all the information received on here is what he thinks we can do or what he's suggesting that we should do. And as I can tell you in many retreats that I've been in, this never looks the same when we exit.
That's not what you're going to do. It's what he thinks you should do. It's what he suggested you do, not necessarily what you're going to do.
Yeah, so anytime we hit the mic in the retreat and we're like, well, maybe, you could see Russ's eyebrow in the corner kind of going, what is going on? So, but
it's a starting off point. It's a negotiation point.
It is a starting off point, and it just provides the ability for us to get feedback. I love this. I love that he releases it early, so then that way the residents do have the opportunity to take a look at it and give us any feedback before we go into session and start talking about this. But yeah, I hope to see some people there, and it'll be a great time. It'll be fun for all to be had. I think it'll be a really good time.
So we're spending our small business assistance report with Elijah. We're not actually presenting. I don't think they wanted us to because it's too much. You guys have too much to do. So, but it's crazy busy. It is crazy nuts. And I think it's only going to get even more busy.
So talk about that, because some people
So we have the Small Business Assistance Program where we will literally help you start your business from inception and your idea to, we do business plans, marketing plans. We don't do them, but we have partners, but we take you through the system of the partners that you need all the way up to opening your commercial space. And it is So what happens is we have a video on your website, we run some commercials, we do some ads, and people call and say, oh, I want to open a business. They said to call you first. And I say, perfect. And then we say, what's your business? Where do you need to start? We end up helping people with zoning issues, parking issues. I'm working with 2 people on parking issues right now. I spent an hour on the phone. My assistant Margaret spent a couple hours on the phone on one day with people talking about business. And it's everything from I want to open a dog boarding area. They don't understand you can't do that in the plaza next to Target. That it has to be in a certain area. To I want to buy this piece of property. Well, that property isn't zoned for that, and it's not going to be zoned for that. Like, it is crazy intensive, and there's no way if you're opening. If you do hair, you did hair once, right?
In a past life, yes, I did.
Yes, in a past, a long time ago, I remember. And so you know everything there is to know about doing hair. Mm-hmm. What you don't know about is the special drainage and sinks and plumbing and firewall and ADA regulations. What are they right now? When you go to open your business, that's where we come in.
And that costs money.
It does. It costs so much money. If you don't have that money, you need to regroup and start again. Don't lease the space. Realize you don't have the money to actually open it to code, which you're going to be required to do, and then not be able to open it and lose your dream.
Right.
And so we really have, and we've noticed there's been a lot less of that going around, right?
Yeah.
I get those calls far fewer than I used to. I bought this house. I'm going to open a daycare. They were not going to let me. And it's like, you should have called us before you bought the house, right?
Well, and it's interesting because I remember when someone was thinking about this as their brainchild.
Yes.
And we had a conversation, and you asked me because, I did do hair for, well, technically I'm still licensed over 20 years.
All right, okay.
Yeah. And I ran, I was the general manager and also director of operations for a small business here for over 10 years. And you said to me, so tell me what your experience was when we opened. And I shared with you that the owner of the facility was ready to pull her hair out of her head because it kept on going back and forth with the city and with St. Lucie West Service District in regards to what's allowed, what's not allowed. And she would change her plans, and then she would have to redo her plans, and then she'd have to change them again and redo them. And the cost alone in architects and holding up the project and timelines and contractors, it's a lot of money if you don't have the right advice, the first time out. So it's important to kind of have that backbone. And then the other example that I always remember too, which they're no longer in existence, but who knows if this stopped them from being around, is Small Cakes. It was a cupcake shop next to Starbucks. And
she's not, actually, I still talk to her. She wanted a place to do
Cakes by Aline or something.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it was, but
I haven't talked to her in probably a couple years though.
Like my first week on the job, she called me and she goes, I know you had your business in St. Lucie West. I need to talk to you. I came out there and she goes, so I have an issue. I'm not baking cakes. I'm not doing anything here. They want me to have a snuff wall. I'm like, what's a snuff wall? She's like, the wall that keeps the flour out from the, so what do I do? And I'm sure they figured it out in the city. I know the city did figure it out, and they found a way to provide an exception because she wasn't baking.
She wasn't baking there, but on her application, she probably put she's a bakery.
Right, exactly. So, but had she met with Teresa in the chamber prior, they could have told her, hey, this might be an issue. Let's help facilitate that conversation.
Or figure out what you are. You're not really a bakery. You're kind of a retail sales of baked goods.
Correct.
And there's a difference, and the requirements are different, but she's going to sell cakes, right?
Yeah.
So she thinks she's a bakery.
Yeah, so I think that, it's a great resource to have. I'm glad that people are utilizing it. And
I have one now. They grow plants somewhere else, but they're going to have a retail space where they sell the plants, but they're not growing them there. So they don't need agriculture. And so they were very confused on how to work that out. That's actually one of my calls I had just the other day. You're not growing them there. There's difference between the sale of goods and the growth of goods or the baking of goods or the manufacturing of goods.
It's the same thing as Galleria. So Galleria Farms, name farm, sounds like they're going to grow. They're not growing in the area. They're more of a distributing point. Mm-hmm. And I had a lot of emails of people concerned about, well, are they going to grow? Is it going to cause issues in the environment? That kind of stuff. So yeah, you're right. There's a difference between growing and actually just being a point of sale.
Yeah, point of sale is totally different. So, but people don't know that.
Yep.
Why would she check anything other than bakery on her?
Correct.
Yeah, and that's going to cause snuff walls and all kinds of stuff that you're going to need.
Yeah.
Yep, it's crazy. And sprinkle the system, the fire system, all that stuff is
Oh, yeah.
is a little bit different if you're going to bake there. So good stuff. It's about 9:30. Do we have any questions? Do we have any from online, Maureen? Or no, there's a hard no. See, we have not been getting questions at all lately. Okay. You want to ask it for her or put it on the, oh, she's going to answer it for you. Is it how to use a roundabout? Because I will get in the car right now and show you.
She's like,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. You can step up to the mic if you don't mind, because the people at home can't hear you if you just ask from your chair. Is that on?
good morning.
Good morning. My name is Melanie. I'm from Career Source Youth Connections. But my question is really just you were discussing it's a small business assistance program with the chamber, St. Lucie Chamber.
Yep.
I mean, I just wanted to. It really isn't a question. I just want to identify that that's the program, the name of the program, and to find information on that would be, of course, on the chamber and
And the city. And we are now on the county website. The county kicked in to be a part of it as too, so we're growing. So you can find us in all three. But I thank you for getting up and pointing that out because I didn't say where you could find the information. So I appreciate that.
And since you're with Career Source, you know to reach out to Mr. Wooten as well and our business navigator. There's also, I'm trying to remember the program that we have that does the grants for startups.
Well, they
They
do.
go to classes with the SBA.
So if you go, it's not necessarily grants, but you get a rebate here at the city on your business tax receipt, that sort of stuff, if you go through the class here. And then Elijah does it before you sign the lease for the city that we participate in. And then the startup grants are, I don't want to give false hope, so they're very hard to get, but there are some mitigation of fees for taking some classes and that sort of thing. Small business, the SBA, the SBDC, they have amazing programs that they can't market for because they don't get a marketing budget. SBDC is somewhat government funded, so they can't do marketing, but boy, what you can get from them in terms of real information for starting your business is amazing. So we always recommend that you go through that. That's part of our process, though, to say, okay, you need to go here for this, you need to go here for this, and you need to go here for this.
On PSL in Bayshore.
I might have missed it, but are they still planning on building a car wash on PSL and Bayshore?
Where the-
Oh, yeah. In front of Winn-Dixie.
Yes, from
Yeah.
every indication that I have, yes, that is
Yeah.
going to be what that is. Before it was a gas station for many years.
Yeah, I think it was a mobile. It's the out parcel of the Winn-Dixie. It's right there on the corner
Yeah.
in the plaza. Yes, I believe that's still going forward.
From every indication, yes.
Yeah. It's one of Todd's projects. Okay, that was it.
That's it.
Holy moly.
Liz, for the question.
Thank you. We still got out of here on time, even though I was like
I'm a
crazy
chatter.
this morning. I know. We had an extra guest too, and we still made it. So thank you to Mid-Florida. As always, we appreciate them so very much. And of course, thank you to the staff here. Yes, we give away mugs and Danish and coffee if you come on down. So I always use I have so many of these though. And now I've drank out of it, so I don't want to leave it, but I have so many. Anyway, we want to say thanks to my staff, Nash, and everybody for coming out. Patricia Christensen is always here to welcome our guests, so we
Ambassador.
appreciate that. She's our ambassador for this event. And thank you to Vice-Mayor Jolien Caraballo for filling in today. We appreciate it. With that, have a great day, everybody. We will see you really soon.
Thank you.